Hey, welcome to the live stream again. Today we're going to have a look at Pulumi again and Azure Container Apps. We'll carry on our investigations into how we can fire up a new Pulumi service, a new Azure Container App service, and we'll look more at the kind of scaling side and latency and how good it is at handling large numbers of requests. So in Wednesday's stream, we fired up I've just been messing about here. We fired up a new Pulumi stack. So we had this very simple project over here. We created this Azure Container App stack, and we newed up a resource group, some Azure workspace for log analytics, and then we created a kube environment, and finally a container app, and we newed that up and fired one up in the Azure portal. And if I go over here to my dashboard, you can see it created a bunch of resources here: log analytics, kube environment, container app. And if I go to my container app, I can click on the URL and see my container, which we just used the default ASP.NET sample container. But we were going to continue on and see if we can add scaling to our container. So for example, if we go to revision management, we get a bunch of revisions here. I just created this one over here a second ago. And by default, the one we created using Pulumi didn't have auto scaling enabled. It just has minimum maximum replicas 0 to 1. So what I just did earlier on off screen was create a new one with just a test scale of 1 to 5, and this is using HTTP scaling. So the more requests that come in, the more replicas will get scaled up. And also there's this setting called Concurrent Requests as well. So I'm not sure what this is, how many concurrent requests are allowed before it counts a request as before it needs to replicate. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's probably it. How many requests does it need before it replicates to another replica? So I just put in 10 for now. And then I had a look at, this is a trick that is super useful. Whenever you're not sure how to create something using ARM templates, or in this case Pulumi or Terraform or whatever, create it in the portal, then go to JSON view over here. It's kind of hidden, this setting, and then you can see what the ARM template does. And in our case, it created this scale over here: minimum replicas 1, max 5. I just called it test, this rule, HTTP scaling rule, and it added this metadata with concurrent requests set to 10. Now I quickly Googled, so this is our setting: scale, min replicas 1, max 10, and I created a new HTTP scale rule args. HTTP scale rule, and in here there's this thing called metadata, and it's an input map, and I'm not really sure what an input map is. Come on, control click is not working. Input map. So it looks like you can just set it to a dictionary, which is good. There's a lot of stringly typed code in Pulumi, which I'm a bit disappointed by, to be honest. I was hoping for more strongly typed objects, but then again, this container apps type is very new, so maybe it takes them time to be able to do that. So we'll go with 10, and I think this is called concurrent requests over here. So we'll stick that in there, and we'll try to deploy this again. So I just do Pulumi up -- message add HTTP scale rule. And we mentioned last stream that it's always a good idea to pass in a message when you're deploying, so that we get a record of what deployments happened and what was actually done in the environment. One to update, and oops. It's running. Let's see what it does. Concurrent requests is not recognized. Although one updated, it says one updated. A newer version of Pulumi is available as well, so we'll update that later. Run PowerShell, blah blah blah. That's nice. It tells you what to run. I don't know, should we just do that? Concurrent request is not recognized. Let's see what's happened in the portal. If we go to revision management, don't really see any differences. This is the one I created. I wonder, so you're not supposed to change the environment while you're not supposed to change the environment outside of Pulumi. So how do I'll make that inactive, and we'll stick this one to 100, traffic 0, save. And it couldn't find, let's close that. It couldn't find concurrent requests 10. Maybe this is a capital C. Let's give that a bash. Why? Oh, couldn't update Pulumi because it doesn't have didn't have admin rights. So I think a control click over here will open a new one. Was it a control click? No, control, is it shift click? I forgot what the command was. There was a special command I learned. If you do like a control or a shift click, it adds it with admin rights. So normally you go here, you go right click, run as administrator. But there was another way to do that. Maybe somebody can let me know. We'll just run this as administrator and get this updated as well. Really quick while this is updating. Pulumi is not recognized. Oh no. It looks like this command deleted Pulumi for us. Okay, it's now installed. Let's try that again. That's updating. I did find in my investigations there is a Pluralsight course, Getting Started with Pulumi, by this guy named Floyd May. I only just started watching it. It's only an hour and a half long, so I will finish that and maybe make some improvements to this stack. I don't like the fact that everything is done in the constructor. We were looking for some like this guy. There's an invoke async, but you can't run async functions in the constructor. So I wonder how that works. And I wonder also if there's ways of getting rid of some of these string types, like the location in particular. We chose Northern Europe, but I wonder if there's like an enum that I can use instead that I don't know about. So that would be nice to know. That's updated. Let's go back over here, refresh this. And has that actually worked? 0 to 1. That time it didn't complain. 1 updated. How do you tear this down? Pulumi up, destroy. There we go, let's destroy it. So let's destroy that and fire it up again. This is the advantage of having infrastructure as code. You can just destroy things, bring them up multiple times, create multiple instances. This is really the way to go. Don't go clicking around in the Azure portal if you can help it. This is going to take maybe some time. Let's have a look. So it's destroying the container app right now. If I go to the dashboard and hit refresh somewhere, it should start taking things away. There we go. It's deleted a few things. Those things should disappear, although they don't seem to be going yet. Okay. Are they gone? No, they are not. Why are they not gone? Refresh. The log analytics is still there. Resource not found. Oh, maybe it just took some time. Refresh. Refresh. It's taking. Is this still there? Nope. So, okay. So this UI is just a bit slow, which is not great. Let's create it again. Pulumi up, yes, message initial. And that should create a brand new instance of our application. It's building it first. Running .NET build. Okay, it needs to create 4 items. Some of these names could be better. Could improve some of this. In fact, shall we have a look at that? So I wonder if there's an enum for this. So I'm going to pull that out. Public static class Azure location. And we'll just grab one of these. And I found a command that you can run called this guy, AZ account list locations output table. And this allows you to see what all the special names are, the display name and the name for all the locations in Azure. So I want North Europe because that's one of the close locations to me, and I believe I can just do this, and then this can just switch over to .north. What's going on here? Pattern based. Okay, so that's switched out. It would be nice if we could pass in the location here somehow. So we need to look into how to pass parameters into our into our app, into our stack. We also could probably do with having this as a constant, so a tag name constant. We'll call this tag name, and we'll call this environment tag name dot environment. Obviously, if I was doing this for real, I'd move these out into separate files, and we'll call that tag name environment as well. What else? We have our resource group here. That's currently just called my app. We've got log analytics here. Let's go with lowercase for everything. This can be cube environment, log analytics, managed container app, container args. The name of the container is ASP.NET sample. We just call that ASP.NET sample. And that's a HTTP scale rule concurrent requests 10. Okay, we renamed a bunch of stuff. This is still creating. It's close to finishing. I wonder if we'll be able to now run this again and have everything automatically rename itself. I wonder if I can pass any arguments in here. Service provider, okay. Don't need that. How do we pass arguments in here? Can we do that? This is our previous stack that we had when we created a new project. It looks like there's no arguments being passed into this thing over here. So we'll learn how to do that. We'll go off and work that out. So look, is this done now? Does take a minute. Not exactly the quickest thing in the world, Azure, in creating some of these objects. We're just creating the container app now. So if we go here, we should see it pop up. We've got duplicates now, which is not good. My app, container app, revision management. It's got no revisions yet. I guess that's what it's creating next right now. Come on, you can do it. I also had a look at the Pulumi documentation. They have this learn section over here, learn Pulumi, and I clicked around in here, but these seem to be related to Python, so you can learn general principles if you don't know Python, but it's kind of hard to, I'm not much of a Python developer, so it's kind of hard to follow along on these tutorials. It would be nice if a lot of the website has this kind of section where you can choose what language you're interested in. So if you're looking at Azure before you begin, you can select which language you're interested in. This is super useful. So they've got the whole tutorial effectively 4 times, for once for each language. I think they support Rust as well, but they don't seem to have that. Maybe that's a new language that hasn't been documented yet very well. So yeah, Pulumi stack output, modify the program. I'm just wondering if there's a way you can pass parameters in here. It's talking about the output, deploy the changes, Pulumi up, Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward so far. Pulumi destroyer, we used that one. Next steps. Adopting Pulumi. Testing. Inputs and outputs. There we go. We have inputs. Virtual machine. Apply is a new output. The result of the call to apply. So that's what apply is doing. So if we go back to our stack, we use apply in two places. Apply a primary shared key. Apply FQDN. So that's pulling something out actually. And then we're setting it on this output property, which is outputting the URL that we're using finally. If you have multiple outputs and need to join them, the all function acts like an apply over many resources. So output.all apply accessing properties of an output. What about inputs? Input. All resource arguments except inputs. Inputs are values of type I input and type that. Okay, so that's talking about other kinds of inputs. I'm really talking about parameters. We'll do some investigation a bit further. Let's see if this is done yet. It's still not done. That takes a while, doesn't it, this time? Let's go back here. Use resource arguments. Configuration. Different values. Here we go. CLI offers a config command. Get and set subcommands for managing key value pairs. Configuration keys, settings and getting configuration values. Pulumi config set, Pulumi config get. Here we go. We can set our location and environment like this. Accessing configuration from code. This is what we need. Require name. This is what we need. So in our code, we should be able to new up a config type and require the location. We'll call that Azure location. And we'll pass this in here. And we also need the environment. And environment name.development. We'll just swap that around here. So in theory, we should be able to pass in these values as configs. Still going. So we need to set some config values. So if we do in another window, Pulumi config set environment. What's the syntax here? Key value gets all configuration key value pairs in the current stack as JSON if JSON is passed. So we'll set environment to development. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. What did that actually do? Environment development. There we go. Location. So these are the instances. So this is the dev stack. I think I can just modify this myself. I wonder if I can. Do I need to use this? Set Azure location. We already seem to have a location here. This one seems to be an older thing. Azure native. I'm not sure where that came from. Azure native. Not sure about this one. Let's see. Is that done yet? Yes, at last. Oh, it failed. Failed to provide revision for container app. Error details. Operation expired. It just took too long. Well, Azure Container Apps is still in preview, so I guess that's to be expected. Let's see if this works with our new values. Pulumi up with config. In theory now, it's going to rename some stuff and pull out the config values and use those in our application. I quite like this mix of declarative config and in YAML and code. It's quite nice. Create. It's creating the workspace in the cube environment again. It's replacing the resource group, changing the location, deleting the old one. So sometimes if you change the name, that's a pretty big operation in Azure. So it has to delete items and replace them completely. You could pass Pulumi up -- diff and see what it was going to do before it actually did it, to see if it was a destructive operation. Ideally though, you want to be able to rename things. You don't want to have bad names just because it's gonna tear something down. You can always create another instance, a brand new instance, and then delete the old one with the bad name and then switch over to the new instance. So that's a thing you could do. But it looks like it's working. I wonder what location it's going to create this thing in. Let's go check in our dashboard. We'll refresh this page. It still created it in Northern Europe, which is good. I don't know which one the latest one is though. Is it this one? No idea. Hold on. Didn't we rename this from my app? What did we create? Oh, I forgot. I didn't rename the resource group. That's fine. But it did the right location. Does it have the tag? Let's check. Whoops. Does it have the tag? Tags, environment development. Good. You could probably add some more standard tags here. Another standard one I'd probably add is application name. Application, we'll just call it application. And I just stick that in here. And we'll call it, we'll require that from config. We'll just call it application name. And maybe you always want a particular set of tags. So we could pull this out into a function actually. So we could say extract method, call this get tags. That's the beauty of this. We can just use functions to do things. And in fact, we can just pull this out of config ourselves. I will just leave it like that. Application name, Azure location. No, I didn't want this. Whoops, that's done too much. I didn't want the whole. I just wanted this section to be pulled out. Is it not going to do that for me? Tags equals that. I could just use a variable, I suppose, and then just do that. Now it's all set in one place. Everything has tags. Does this have tags? It does. Missed out some tags here. Does this have tags? No. Cube environment tags. Yeah, we got tags everywhere now. Creating a replacement for the container app. This is it is taking a really long time. We might be scuppered here by Azure being a bit slow. We've got 2 instances of everything. If I go to some of them, they might not exist. This one exists. This one exists. Yeah. But that's development in the early stages of an application. I forgot to write the application name here. And we'll call this my app. Just stick that in there as well. I like this config system. It's very, 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 very simple. Unbelievably simple. Taking a very long time. View live. Let's go check this out. What does this do? Shows you what the diff was. It's quite nice. Oh, that's nice. You can see the whole configuration. I think we can get rid of this one. I'm not sure. I think you can just do that. Config application name is probably other things we can put in here. Azure Container Apps .NET. What's going on? Come on. Wonder what these mean. Replaced, plus minus, plus plus. I wonder what plus plus means. Creating a replacement. Very slow. Let's talk about Pulumi for a minute. So what do I think about it so far? It seems really easy to use. Like it's just a bunch of namespaces and you know, it's just a bunch of objects. You can just new them up, simplify things. I don't see anything really hard. The only thing I don't like is the oddness sometimes you get with Azure. So for example, yesterday we found that these resources that you give the container, you can only use a certain combination of values. So it has to be 0.25 and 0.5 gigabytes of RAM. Or it has to be 0.5 CPU and 1 gigabyte of RAM. So there's special combinations there, and it would have been nice if there was just an enum to represent these values, as opposed to having to manually put in some values and work out if you've got something right or wrong. Likewise with this section over here with the metadata, like it looks like sometimes they just fall back to just having a dictionary of stuff, which I don't think is very good at all. We've got another issue here, per gigabyte 2018. Like, what does that mean? It would be nice to have an enum, or maybe there is an enum here actually. Workspace SKU name enum, workspace SKU name enum dot per GB 2018. Interesting. Okay, so there may be some enums that we're missing. That's nice to know. Destination, log analytics, that was like a magical value that you just had to know. Type equals managed, another magical value. What's this complaining about? Workspace shared keys is not null here. Nullability of reference types in value of type output string does not match type output string. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do there. This type is a string, nullable string, and this is looking for a nullable input string. This is outputting get shared keys result. Here we go. We're probably always going to have a primary shared key out of the workspace, so just make sure that that's true. What else can we do here? We've got our image name. We can probably pull that out into a constant. And then these resources, yeah, these should really be container resources. We failed to provision again. Oh no. Operation expired. What's going on with Azure Container Apps today? It looks like we can't do anything. Oh. I have to log in again. I'm just going to delete some of these manually. Delete resource group. Maybe the issue is that it's not able to delete some of these. I don't know. I'll delete that or delete that. And I'll go to Pulumi destroy as well, just to make sure that Pulumi's the state that Pulumi has stored up is also destroyed. And we'll say yes. And we'll go back here. This image, concurrent requests 10. We could probably use config values for these also. So we'll call this image name, and this can go in here. Container image name. I wonder if you can kind of nest these somehow. So if there was like a container and then image name kind of thing going on, that would be nice. Container image name. We'll pull out that config value here. We should probably pull these out into functions now, really. Container image name. We'll use that here. Let's pull these out into some separate functions. So we can new up a container app here. Pull that out into a separate function. Extract method. Yep, do that. Get create container app. The indentation has gone horribly wrong, and we'll just return that, so we don't need that whole section there. And we can also, if we pull out tags, I don't think it matters if we have things being called lots of times. We don't really need this, but we'll keep it there. Having to pass in all these parameters is a bit cumbersome. So just wondering if we can just simplify this a little bit. Private static dictionary string get tags, and we'll just return that. We need the application name and the environment. So I'll just say, you know what, get the tags this way. Easy. And that way we don't need to pass in tags here, and we can just call get tags. And maybe we'll just call everything get. Did this get destroyed? Yeah, we'll do Pulumi up. Let's go to the portal, make sure nothing's there. Refresh that. Is it completely empty? Oh no, stop. We're not ready yet. We need to stop messing around with our code to make sure. Okay, so I think this works. So this works. Let's deploy this, and then while it's building, we can carry on coding. Once it's built, we should be okay to carry on editing the code. Oh, no, error. Failed with an unhandled exception, status unknown. Request failed. Service returned an error 404. Resource group not found. Resource group my app could not be found. We just did a Pulumi destroy, so that should have destroyed everything. This is where I've made a mistake. I should not have deleted anything from the portal. And now it's in an inconsistent state. So how do we tell Pulumi to forget about this stack that it knows about? Pulumi, let's see what other things we have on here. Pulumi stack, managed stacks. Current stack is dev. Pulumi stack ls. rm dev. Yes. Oh, dev. We have to type dev. I thought we could just type yes. Still has resources. Forced to override. -- force. Dev. Stack has been removed. Oh no! It deleted my config file. Let's see if I can just bring that back. Oh no. So if I do stack ls now, stack help. We want to create a new stack again. I've lost my stack. Pulumi stack, change secrets for export, graph, init. Stack name. I think dev's a really bad name for a stack because and it's a dev is an environment. It's it shouldn't be called stack. So I'm just going to call it my app or my app. Where is it put that file? No idea. Yeah, recovering from this is kind of hard. Rename an existing stack. Remove a stack and its configuration. Select. Okay, so we'll do ls again. Pulumi stack ls. Pulumi stack. Select my app. Pulumi stack. You want to create a configuration file. List known ones. Oh my god, I don't know how to create a configuration for this. Let's see if I can remember. Pulumi dot my app dot YAML. At the top level there was config, and then there was, I think it was Azure Container Apps colon, and then the application name colon, we'll call this my app, and we had environment, what is a stack? Is a stack? No, a stack is not, should be my app development. No, I think that's right actually. Should be the app name and the environment. Yeah, that's my bad. Let's quickly do that. My app development. Pulumi stack rm my app. My app. Pulumi stack init. My app development. So that's created a stack name with the same name. So this is my app in development. And what else do we need? Application name, Azure location. The stack name should probably also include the Azure location. Yeah. Azure location, container image name. I don't remember what the container was called, so I'm just gonna roll back. And if at any point I make a typo here, we're finished because I did not back up this code in a Git repo like I should have. So let's just redo all of that. Does anyone else do that? Yeah, I do that all the time. It's probably not great. Let's keep that quote, surround it, and now we are good to go. So if we do Pulumi up dash dash yes, dash dash message initial. That should work. Invalid YAML file, line 2. I think it's not using tabs, it's using spaces. Yep, there we go. 2 spaces. This is where an editor config file comes in useful, because Visual Studio respects that and will use 2 spaces instead of a tab character. And we'll just see that run through. Should start creating things now. Apparently it's created the resource group. It's lying to us, or is it? Doesn't seem to have created one here. So when you're creating Azure resources, what I've done in the past with the resource group names is not actually use application name here like this, but to use application name, environment dash Azure location. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like this so that we can actually get something deployed finally. Oh, it's been a long while. If this doesn't work, I think we'll have to call it a day today, because Azure Container Apps doesn't seem to be playing nicely. It's not able to create an instance of itself. But it's in preview, so I can't really blame Azure for that either. That seems to have created a lot quicker, the cube environment. If I refresh, yep, finally we see something. Here's our cube environment. Log analytics. Maybe we should have a dash on the end of our names to separate all of this kind of randomness from the name. I think that would make a lot of sense, actually. So while this is just running, let's carry on. Let's redo that change. Give the application name a nice name. And as I say, we'll go with lower kebab case everywhere. So we'll call that development North Europe. And whenever we name something, if we put a dash on the end, I think that will do the trick. Yeah. So let's carry on refactoring. We can pull this out into a new method, get resource group. What does that look like? So once again, we want to pull out. I don't like this. Let's create a new struct with all the config in it. That's what we should do. So we'll create a public record struct record class. We'll call this configuration, and let's make it a static class, and we'll just call new up config here like this, statically. Private static read only configuration equals new configuration. And then here we'll create a bunch of public static properties. Static string application name, config.require application name. Let's just use the short name config because that's what the class is called. Pulumi Azure native.config. No, we don't want to add extra namespaces. Application name, Azure location. We'll just call that location. And environment. And container image name. That'll do. And now I can get rid of that. Get rid of all this. And go here. Get tags is now going to be configuration dot application name dot environment, and likewise this will be much simpler also. Application name get tags, get resource group, var get resource group, get workspace. Let's pull that out, extract that into a method, get workspace. Where is this used? Let's pull that out as well. Get workspace shared keys. So this is a bit messed up now. So we want our resource group, and we want to return this workspace, and we want to get tags. Oh, we didn't set our location here. That's not good. Location equals configuration dot location rst. Make that alphabetical order, and we'll do that, and this should return something. So var workspace equals that, get shared results. So yep, this is correct. Now we'll invoke that And I wonder if we can also add this on. Get workspace primary shared key. Stick that in there. Cube environment, we'll split that out as well. Extract method, get cube environment. I'll stick this in order. In fact, move that below the resource group and above there. So output string type, and we want what is going on with the cube environment. Workspace primary shared key. This is output string type. Location, we got tags. Cool, so we got our cube environment now. Is it using the workspace? Yeah, for a customer ID, resource group, name. I wonder if we can make the resource group name a thing here. So we can just do cut that public static string resource group name. And then we can take out some of this stuff. That's much nicer. Configuration. And that way we don't need to pass around the resource group anymore. We can just use a configuration value. And we can remove that from there. Much simpler. And then here on Get Container App, we can simplify this further. We just need the cube environment, configuration, location, and configuration.container image name. We can set some of these other things from there also. I think that's it. We have 4 created and Container Apps has failed again, so we can't carry this on, unfortunately. We don't need to pass in a resource group anymore. And we don't need any of these things either. So now we have a really simple constructor. We're renewing up some things, and container app configuration, apply, ingress. So we have our URL as well. Yeah, that's very, very simple. Let's just make sure that that actually works. We're simplifying the code, refactoring it, I should have said. Let's at least see if that compiles. Azure Container Apps, my app development. Failed with unhandled exception. Config missing exception, missing required config. Oh, we're missing the location. And I think I renamed this to just location. Simplify the code. Cool, that worked. I'm not going to run that through because, well, I'll let it run through, but now you can see what a kind of a nice Pulumi app could look like if you refactored it, and it's just code at the end of the day, so you can do what you want with it. Maybe in the next stream we can actually get down to creating this thing, and I'm assuming I won't be able to create it in the application either. Oh, this is interesting. I renamed the resource group and now it says resource group could not be found. So renaming is a problem. You can't really rename things. You need to tear things down and then let them go again. I forgot to add a dash to the end of the resource group name also. Pulumi destroy. So we'll get rid of everything, and yeah, maybe we'll also swap this around so the environment is at the end. Environment, so my app, Northern Europe, development, production, whatever will be at the end, followed by some random string in the resource group name. That looks good to me. As I say, I'll be watching this Pluralsight course, get up to speed with Pulumi, and then maybe we'll catch up in the next stream and we'll take this a bit further. For now though, you can please like and subscribe and hit that notification icon so you can know when there's a new stream. And if you have any questions or anything, ping me on Twitter and we'll have a chat. See you later.